Hey, Shalom Makim. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rekakwadash, for allowing me to do another lesson. Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls God. Yahushai is his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and there's no God beside them. I want to give double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for being faithful witnesses to the Holy Spirit, and Shalom to the elect, whom the Most have given ears to hear. And today's lesson is going to go into an article I found, and which it says, Putin to carry out nationwide nuclear exercise as documents warn conflicts escalating. And for those who've been watching, which at this point, if you don't know, you definitely living under a rock. The situation that's going on in Ukraine, all right, and you got America, which Russia knows America is funding Ukraine, all right, to make their occupation that much more harder. I believe we even got NATO up in there. Let's see. When in doubt, Google it. Let's see, is NATO helping Ukraine fight Russia? Okay. So it says NATO is helping to coordinate Ukraine's request for assistance and is supporting allies in a delivery of humanitarian and non-lethal aid. Through NATO, allies have already pledged 500 million euros to meet Ukraine's critical needs, including fuel, demining equipment, and medical supplies. So it seems like, they they're helping from the sidelines. Nevertheless, it's a nuisance to Russia. So soon enough, things will escalate. Now, it's not to say that Ukraine will be the catalyst, because the scriptures say Salakia. The scriptures say that the nation shall be gathered into a land barren and desolate in the book of is it Obadiah, Salakia, I don't know. Joel 2. So we know that World War III, which is nuclear war, will be fought in the Middle East in a land barren and desolate. All right, the scriptures speak about in Revelation 16 how the angels are holding back the kings of the east, all right, in the midst of that river Euphrates, right? We can grab that. I don't want to butcher it any more than I already have, rather. Revelation 16 and 13. 16 and 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon a great river Euphrates, and the waters thereof was dried up, which you see, this is actually happening right now. When you look over in the river Euphrates, which is in the midst of Syria, right? As you see, a large famous river, which rises in the mountains of Armenia Major, flows through Assyria, Syria, Mesopotamia, and the city of Babylon. All right. So this is another clue that proves that where the nation shall be gathered in the land barren and desolate shall be around this area, the river of Euphrates. That's where World War III is going to happen. That's where nuclear missiles is going to be shot off. And that's where the Lord of hosts is going to send his son Yahushai, all right, to destroy his enemies. And the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Right? So now Yahweh Shem Yahushai is allowing them to prepare their hatred, and along with that hatred for the West, they're preparing their arsenal, their nuclear arsenal, their military might, their military strategies, and so on and so forth. All right. So where to this very day you have articles like this. Let's go back to the article. It says Putin to carry out nationwide nuclear exercise as document warns conflicts escalating. A nuclear exercise is set to be held by Russian officials in all regions of the country for the first time as Vladimir Putin's country begins preparing for escalating worries of nuclear war. Russian officials confirmed they would hold a nationwide nuclear exercise in the coming days as the chances of the radioactive weapon being used is escalating. All right. And the scriptures tell us, we can grab that. Revelations 11 and 14, the second woe was past, World War II. When you go into the word woe, it means woe, grief. Other words, death. All right. What war? And then you ask yourself, what war brought upon the most death in the world? It would have to be a world war where there's wars on multiple fronts. Okay. The second woe was past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And when you look around the world, all right, all these nations, all these turmoils are happening. All these little mini wars are happening. All right, to where like you got the Ukraine situation, you got the Taiwan situation, and you know that's very potent, showing you what time we're in. That the third woe definitely is coming quickly. Right, the third woe cometh quickly. Right, and let's jump over to Revelations 9. Let's see. Right, which Revelations 9, the beginning of it speaks of World War I. And then we go down to verse let me see. 12. One woe is past, World War I, and behold, there cometh two woes more after, World War II. World War I happened in 1914. World War II was around 1949. And then you have World War III, which is soon to come. And the sixth angel sounded, as we just read in Revelation 16, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before God, which if I didn't mention, the Euphrates River, about 2 years back, it began to dry up, saying, so the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates, and the four angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year for the slated third part of men. Now, only Yahweh knows essentially when he's going to send his son Yahweh Shai and when he's going to shoot off those nuclear missiles. All right. We know we are close though, but we don't know exactly when. All right. Because another major prophecy has to come to pass. The RFID chip has to come to pass, which is the mark of the beast written up in Revelations 13 and 16. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200 million missiles that's going to be shot off. And I heard the number of them, and thus I saw the horses in a vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone. All right, going to prove that it is not regular horsemen. All right, because what horsemen have fire and jacinth and brimstone? All right, it has to be something. It has to be something more. It has to be something very powerful. Right? It's basically showing you how, like when you go in Joel, the second chapter, They move with vigor. All right. Scriptures say how the earth shall reel to and fro. That's because it's shooting off of those nuclear missiles. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issue fire. Right? Because from the whole nuclear missile, what really packs the punch is the head, the warhead, and smoke and brimstone. And by these three was the third part of men killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths, which the third part of men represents Esau, Edom, which you have the sons of God, the sons of men, and then the sons of the wicked. All right? But being that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, and they have everybody under their spell, the Most High is going to knock off certain parts of the earth. America being one that's going to be completely knocked off. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents and had hills, and with them they do hurt. All right. But that's pretty much the point. All right. So now we go back to this article. It says, the one-day nuclear attack exercise, which has only been done region by region up to this point, is set to expect a 70% destruction tally of Russian homes and integral life support systems. The scenario assumes martial law would be taken in an event of an attack. And you gotta assume, if you have your thinking cap on, that at the threat of a nuclear attack, that they're just not gonna lay down. They're also going to send nuclear missiles upon you. All right. As it is written of in was that Jeremiah 50? All ye that bend the bow, say, spare no arrows. Jeremiah 50 and 14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow. Meaning all those that have nuclear missiles. Shoot at her. Spare no arrows. For she have sinned against Yahweh. And how is this place sin against Yahweh? By killing off Yahweh Shah. All right. By adding and taking away from the scriptures. All right. By putting your hand upon the apple of the Lord's eye. The scriptures speak about how America is full of the blood of the saints. All right. And as far as killing off Yahweh Shai, the scriptures say, he that hated me loved death. So as this place hates righteousness, it hates the men who the Lord put out there. This place is any way, shape, or form you look at it, this place will get nuked. All right. But going back to the point, they were saying the scenario assumes martial law, which you gotta believe that this place will also be consumed by martial law. As Yahweh Shah said, before he come in, fire is going to be upon the earth. All right. So this place will also be downtrodden by martial law, rioting, looting. Dark times, essentially. All right. 2nd Ezra 15 and 16. You can read that to go into the actual Salaki. Let me blow my nose. But you can read 2nd Ezra 15 and 16 to get into more detail about the dark times that's coming. Gotta get this mucus out of me. But it says that was pretty much it. Okay, it says a test scenario document has since been leaked, warning the Russian Federation is expecting hazards from increasing worries over nuclear escalation. Their tests are set to figure out how complete destruction will affect the country. Right? And when you look in the news, all right, I just typed in the likelihood of nuclear war in 2024. Right? Now, it's important to not only look at news of today, but look at recent news. All right? To see just how close we are. Right? What are the minds of the people like? All right? Because the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. he turneth it whithersoever he will. So, in other words, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai runs the world through men. So if men's mind are dead set upon shooting off missiles, then that should tell you that dark times is coming. It says this from March 29th, Milley says war with China, Russia not inevitable. 2 weeks ago, the 2024 Executive Power Survey, War Powers. 2 weeks ago, okay, Zelensky warns Putin could cause World War III. This one came in. Let's jump down to the one on January 9th. The Pentagon is freaking out about a potential war with China. Let's see. Russia warns U.S. against using Ukraine war. Risk of nuclear war. This is in July 31st. Let's go to other pages. And it's been a lot of talk about nuclear war this year. If you haven't noticed, these are all from 2023. Right? I'm trying to go back even further, but shit. All right, 2022. The U.S. must Trump-proof the nuclear codes before 2024. But even if you look at the time of Trump set the stage for the next presidency. That talks of peace was off the table as he cut deals with, these different nuclear nations. One being Iran. All right, now they're going crazy with their uranium building. I believe there's another one with Russia. All right, you can look it up. Different peace treaties. Let's look it up. Different peace treaties. Salakia. Different peace treaties. Broken. By. No. So you see Biden's Northern Ireland. Let's see. This is on February 1st. All right, let's see. CNN. President Donald Trump's decision to begin the process of withdrawing the U.S. from intermediate range nuclear force treaty will end an arms control agreement with Russia that has been a centerpiece of European security since the Cold War. The movement meant to penalize Russia for non-compliance is likely to alarm the international community, particularly Europe, and cause fears the U.S. and Russia could enter a new nuclear arms race. All right, so that was the intermediate range nuclear. Salakia, 1 second. Gotta keep blowing my nose because the snot is coming through. Okay, it's called the INF. I don't know if I said the IMF, but the INF. Nuclear treaty. U.S. pulls out of Cold War era pact with Russia. Trump says U.S. will withdraw from nuclear arms treaty with Russia. So yeah, as mentioned before, Trump set the stage. All right, we are in a new era. All right, as it's written of in Isaiah 54:16. Well, we're gonna grab that last, but let's grab let me grab this. Ezekiel 21:9. Well, as it says, Son of man, give the people this message from the Lord. A sword is being sharpened and polished. It is sharpened for terrible slaughter and polished to flash like lightning. Now will you laugh? You see, the Americans is preparing for Thanksgiving, preparing for Halloween, preparing for, these different cancer walks. Meanwhile, these other nations like Russia, another big nuclear power, is preparing for hard times. Those far stronger than you have fallen beneath his power, you know? And the way this shit is going, it'll look like another election will be successful, you know? That's the way I see it. It don't look like this place is gonna see another election. If it does, it's not gonna go the way a lot of people will hope it to be. You know? And bad times is coming in every sector. All right. The housing market, the financial market, the oil market, the agriculture. Bad times is coming in this place. Hell, it's already here. It's just only slated to get worse as time goes on. All right. But you know, as also aforementioned, even Yahweh Shah said, these are wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for the end is not yet. Matthew 24. And 6, and you will hear wars and threats of wars, but don't panic. Yes, these things must take place, but the end won't follow immediately. All right. And again, you could find the intricacies of this statement that Yahweh Shai made in 2nd Ezra 15 and 16. What's to happen prior to the total detonation of those nuclear missiles, which is essentially the same time the coming of Yahweh Shai. Nation will go to war against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in many parts of the world. But all this is only the first of the birth pains, with more to come. Okay? You got Esau's super soldiers. You got his technology to deal with. What's the worst technology he's going to bring upon you is that RFID chip, where he's going to starve you out to push you into his agenda. All right, his new world order, his image. All right, and that spells very dark times for the world. But Yahweh Shah is going to come in and stop that. All right, but it's going to go from a rumor to actually happening. Now we can grab Isaiah 54 and 16 and it's there. Right, Isaiah 54 verse 16. All right, so after the rumors, shit might even die down a little bit. Don't really see that, but we'll see. Nevertheless, bad times, I just spelled it out with the martial law and the famine and things of that nature. And then the icing on the top would be those nuclear missiles. Right? Revelation tells us so. Isaiah tells us so. I've created the blacksmith, Isaiah 54 and 16, who fans the coals beneath the forge and makes the weapons of destruction. All right? And it's through the spirit that as this year is 2023, the hopeful year of all prophecies coming to pass, that the movie Oppenheimer came out. And in the movie itself, it shows you how Oppenheimer, after he tested the hydrogen bomb that they used on Hiroshima and Nagasaki over in New Mexico, afterwards he basically tried to renege, to tell the U.S. to chill out, But as you see, that's not in the Lord's plans. All right, they had to be the first in line, to be the big bad wolf. They had to be the strongest, But the Lord had other plans for this place, and these are essentially the Lord's nuclear scientists. These are His ideas that He just put in man. All right, as Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, the book of Revelations, was written before this devil was even on the scene. Right, essentially. Right? What I mean by that is before this book of Isaiah was written thousands of years, before Esau was ruling, before America, before Rome. Well, we'll say before America, because that's, and this time is when America is when those nukes going to be shot. All right, and I have created the armies to destroy. I've created the blacksmith who fans the coals beneath the forge and makes the weapons of indignation. I've created the armies to destroy, but in that coming day, no weapon turned against you will succeed. You will silence every voice raised up to accuse you. Makes me think of the book of Job 5, how the Lord said for the elect, you know, Psalm 91, 1,000 shall fall at that side. The Lord shall deliver them in the seventh trump. The elect is going to be safe. They're going to find favor while everybody else, finds the wrath of the Lord. So with that, shalom to the elect.